Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unconventional GMs, the channel where we play one-shot games with pace, vim, and vigor. And we're playing a game almost designed for this sort of pacey all-action play today, the Index Card RPG. We've reassembled our posse from Weird Frontiers and Deadlands, an authentic group of players well-versed in the Old West and all the complicated gunslinging rules that come with them. We're playing a Western setting for the Index Card RPGs, Ghost Mountain, today. It's Wild West, but it's more the Wild West, Weird West. Sometime back, not when anyone can remember. In fact, whenever anyone tries to remember, it gets all hazy. Ghost Mountain and its surrounding area got cut off from the rest of the Final Frontier. Cut off from the rest of the world, that is. People still arrive, but people don't seem to leave anymore, even if they die. Old timers say this is when the demons started appearing too, and the dead stopped staying dead. So now you're on a sort of floating hunk of landscape caught between heaven, hell, and some other place. Purgatory, some call it, but that might be too simplistic a term. Either way, things get wilder here when the mountains got cut off, and every day is like a mortal struggle for your souls and the souls of the land. There's actually a mechanic in this game where at the end of each session you're meant to do a little deal with the devil based on the number of souls you've managed to gather, like GP from your fallen enemies. They'll come in this game. But without further ado, let's do some introductions. I'm Guy from the Burn After Running blog and this, of course, and I'll be GMing the game. Let's go first of all to Gaz. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hello, I'm Gaz. I'm half of this and half of What Would the Small Party Do, the UK's premier RPG podcast. Today, I am playing La Pantera. Ding-ding-ding-ding. His guitar reverberates. He's a mariachi with an expansive and glorious red and gold sombrero. He's got shiny coins down the sides of his pants. He's got a three-quarter jacket and a little ruffled white shirt underneath it. He's devilishly handsome. And although he can shoot and other things, his main ability and value to the group is to sing songs and inspire his companions.
Sounds beautiful. Look forward to that being acted out on stream. We'll decide whether to leave it in or edit out later on, maybe. Next, Alex, who are you and who are you playing?
Hello, I'm Alex. Glad to be back in the new year on an Unconventional GMs game. Mostly people will probably know me from this if they've watched other videos, particularly the other fun Wild West games we've already played. Tonight I am playing Old Bill Braunstein, the old timer. So very much the wizened, experience carrying member of the group, and also the most faithful. He's got his various holy prayers and icons, and believes that the Lord's eye still gazes on wherever this strange limbo that we are is.
Fantastic, fantastic. And a fantastic beard that you brought for the occasion as well. Some great cosplay there, Alex.
Yes, Braunstein does indeed sport a beard even longer and more unkempt than my own.
Fantastic. Shane, who are you and who are you playing?
Good evening, everybody. I am, as advertised, Shane. You'll know me from nothing else other than this, I suspect. I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a YouTuber particularly. I just like playing cool games with cool people, which is why I'm here. Tonight, I do declare I'm playing Lucky Sanders Short, a Southern Belle gambler with 2 6-shooters and a pack of crooked cards.
Lovely, fantastic. Look forward to dealing those cards against you when we discover the mechanics of the game. And finally, Jack, who are you and who are you playing?
Evening all, I am Jag, I play games, and tonight I am playing your resident gunslinger, and tonight I am playing the Deadwood Kid. The Deadwood Kid is only known as the Deadwood Kid, even though he's a grown man sporting a fantastic mustache, which you can imagine just here, and with the finest of dashing collar chief as well. He is an excellent 6-shooter wielder, and is really the most dangerous thing on the prairies, on the plains, where he's grown up and rustled cattle and all this kind of stuff.
Fantastic. We'll put the moustache on in like post-production, maybe, or like viewers can just imagine it or draw it on the screen that they're watching it on with a little Sharpie, or maybe a less permanent marker. So your posse has been together for some time, seeking your fortune and maybe seeking to help out the people of Ghost Mountain. But as often happens, you find yourself in a new town out on the frontier with very little to do. And as the sun sets, you find yourself in the one bar in Dead Rock, the one saloon, the Desert Flower. It's a tight, crowded little bar. Late afternoon, just as the sun is going down, the regular folks are joining, so the seasoned drinkers. There's the smell of stale beer and sawdust as you walk in, and an out-of-tune piano tinkling a chirpy tune naturally stops as you step through the swing doors and step into it. The heavy, dry air makes your eyes blink, and the piano player turns to you, as indeed does every other occupant at the bar. But it's the piano player you notice first. You notice his head is just a blank skull. He's a muerto, already dead, but still here. And maybe that explains why the rhythmic tinkling of the piano keeps going so unchangingly with it. The barman's stout and thick, and you can see his fat fingers barely fit in the shot glasses he's polishing. Did he nod before everyone turned back to their cards and started singing? Piano started up again? It's hard to say. And there's round tables everywhere. You can see that some of the tables have got marks of gunshots. There's a couple stacked up in the corner, shot to pieces. This is clearly a bar that's seen some action in its town. There's stairs leading up to rooms. And you can see in one corner, there's a game of cards in full flow, big stack of chips in the middle of it. And just as they get back to it, you see a young priest on one side throwing a Bible in with the chips, betting his faith on what he can. But as you make your way to the bar and just settle, you notice an argument brewing nearby. There's a short, stocky trader who bears the mark of the Hapawa nations. Dressed in a Western style, has been berated by an overweight man in an ill-fitting but very well-made suit. He's saying, "I'm not falling for the same stuff as Barclay Kleinschmidt. This caravan ambush tale is a load of nonsense." And he's pleading with, he's saying, "Please, Mr. Burrows, the whole convoy was attacked. Out of the caves, I barely escaped my life. My horse was all that saved me." And he says, "Men living in caves on Ghost Mountain? You're liable for it all, you rat. And I'll start by taking it out on your beloved horse." He gestures to another man next to him and says, "Go outside and shoot the old nag." And you can see this man picks up a rifle and makes to go out of the doors where you came. The trader just puts his arm on his shoulder, this man, to try and stop him, and he turns around and slaps him right in the face, sending this man barreling back into Lucky Sandy, and falls. He says, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Burrows," and he says, "Lay a hand on my boys. We'll see about this." And you see 4 of Mr. Burrows' men begin to shape up as this trader looks helplessly around you. And there's a moment frozen in time where you can share what you're going to do. So I'm going to go to La Pantera first. Play in this goes sort of clockwise around in order. So we'll start with you, Gaz. What's your reaction?
Well, initially, I'd swung my guitar down and I was starting to play sympathetically with the guy on the piano. And even though he's got a skeletal head, my grin was even bigger, if you can believe that, with the golden teeth. And then when I can see what happens, there'll be an edgy note to the tune I'm playing. And then I'm going to try and play for a red rodeo, so I can sing and all allies who hear it get an easy round this round.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Let's engage with the mechanics already. So I don't... It's not clear in the rules whether you need to roll to do this or not. I'm going to rule that probably you don't. So how this works in Index Card RPG, each scene's got a target number. This scene's target number is 10. So on your D20 plus bonus roll, you need to hit 10. Now, for this round, while La Pantero is plucking Red Rodeo on his guitar, and the piano will probably start joining in, that becomes easy. So you just need to get 7 to affect it. So as this strumming starts up, the trader is looking pleadingly with you, with a bruise just welling up on his side. Old Bill, what's your reaction now?
Old Bill hasn't survived this long by letting things escalate to gunfights immediately, although perhaps that's where we're headed. And nothing incenses this old timer more than the prospect of a perfectly good horse being shot. So I think as this was kicking off, all Bill was trying to do was get in front of the guy who was going outside to shoot the horse. So just kind of impose himself in front of him, say, "No, there's no need," and at least try and de-escalate things. We'll see how that ends up going.
Okay, you can make a roll to de-escalate. It's probably going to be a charisma test. Luckily, with Red Rodeo playing, this is an easy test. So roll a d20 and add your charisma bonus and see if we can beat that 7.
My charisma bonus, sadly, is 0. Old Bill, perhaps not that comely, but we'll see what I roll anyway. 7 bang on.
Ooh, just there. So the man that's coming is sort of moving to barge past you. What sort of words are you using to calm him down? What sort of approach?
I'm putting my hand kind of up so that he's walking into my hand instead of me. And I'm saying, now, there's no need to waste a perfectly good horse. Whether or not there's been any wrongdoing here and whether or not any reparations need to be paid is one thing, but a dead horse is no good to anybody.
Fantastic, fantastic. Do you want to roll your effort as well for that? So that'll show how effective you are at calming this man down. This is probably because you're using your basic effort.
Yep.
So that's a D4. You might have a bonus on it, or you may not. But
I don't think I do, but a solid roll.
Yeah, you can see he's like, no, orders are orders. Get out of the way, old man. But you sense a quavering of doubt in his voice as he does this. And the other 3 men are still sort of looking shiftily and don't seem to be bothered by this at all. Sandy, we'll go to you next. You've got this trader sort of in your arms looking up at you.
I'll smile sweetly at him and sort of flick my coat off one of my 6 shooters and say, "Boys, any of you draw a weapon at that there horse, I'll put you down before you do it. Ain't nobody needing putting down here."
Okay, so you're trying to de-escalate everything
down, yeah.
But all of them. I'm going to make that hard.
Okay.
So you're going to have to get a 10 because you've sort of brought a gun to a fist fight. And not that they haven't all got guns. The guy with the rifle arguably brought the gun out, didn't he? But he was only playing a shooting horse. But yeah, do you want to make a check against the 10?
Certainly do. My modifier is +1, which is pass. And what can I blag weapon effort out of it, or?
I think you can. Yeah, it gives you weapon effort for that as you try and.
Cool. So
it's
with the
weapon
modifier,
or equipment. So that's
Yeah, with the modifier, that's a 4.
Fantastic. So you see the men are like they sort of back away, but then Burrows, the big fat man, says, "Just draw a gun. Just don't listen to them. They won't shoot in a bar, would they? Somebody get a sheriff." And it sort of hangs in the air as if maybe this de-escalation might end up being an escalation in the end. I'm sure it won't, though, with a Deadwood Kid on the scene.
Deadwood Kid is propping up at the bar. He's slouched down, kind of casually, ready to collect his whiskey glass as it's slid across. And at the first sound of, well, it's not even the first note being played by Pantera, as the instrument is slung back over his back, he starts to lean back up, pulls out one of his pistols and starts loading it bar by bar just in time and eyeing every single one of those other potential assailants, saying, "Well, let's not sully the air with the sound of gunshots, as my friend is about to play the sweetest tune you ever did hear." And he lets his gaze linger finally on the big honcho.
Yeah, give us a charisma check with that. Again, I'm going to probably make it hard, so it's going to be 10 rather than 7 because
well, my charisma is only a 1 bonus. But let's try that. Oops. Oh, is that rolling? That's not rolling. There we go. It's a natural 1.
Yeah, it rolled both times and failed both times.
All right. Okay. That's my modern technology still catching up.
I think the reaction to this is, all the men pull out their guns and begin loading.
Click, click, click. That's what I like.
Except for the one, I think, that's in front of old Bill, who's going to actually try and shove you out of the way. There's one thing I should have done at the start. I'm just running a D4 to see how many rounds you've got until this. You've got ages until the law's actually going to show up as someone runs for it. So don't worry about that. They're all sort of loading their guns and so on. The one next to old Bill is actually going to try and push you out of the way at this, though, because I think he thinks this might be a trap. You calming him down. So what's your armor or defense, old Bill?
+2.
Okay, so he needs to get 12 on this. And he has a +1 bonus as well. So by the skin of his teeth, how does Bill avoid being pushed over by this heavy?
So I already have my hand out just to stop him from kind of walking straight into me. And as soon as I can see things in his eyes turning that he's made this decision. And so I decide I might as well be underhanded first if we're going to get underhanded. So I just push both my arms out, shove him, potentially sprawling across the bar. I assume he gets up quickly because he's not going to lose an action or anything, but sprawling across the bar, sending glass flying, and potentially very angry now.
Okay, yeah, and he's rolling up his sleeves, oblivious to the people loading guns behind him to really swing at you. Excellent. La Pantera, what are you up to? I'll go back to you now.
Yeah, so the music in the background was that kind of incongruous contemporary tune that's been played in a weird style where everybody's watching is kind of going, oh, I know that song, what is it? And like going to Google to try and work it out. The theme tune from Black Beauty was playing as I was trying to give sympathy for the horse outside and see that's not working. So I spin my guitar around a couple of times, and the third time when it comes round, I've actually got a Bowie knife in my hand, and I'm going to hurl it at the guy who set all these men off and try and pin his sleeve to the poker table, and say like, call your boys off. They're all going to die.
Fantastic. Well, it's not easy anymore because you're not
No.
playing your thing. So yeah, it's 10 is what you need on
I'll see if I
Dex. Probably
may well hit the priest or something else, but let's just roll and see what happens. So I get a 13.
Fantastic. Yeah, roll your weapon effort to see how effective that is.
This is a +2, so it's 8 for effort.
Okay, it looks as if
seems good.
So yeah, as described, what happens? His sleeve is pinned to the bar. He's like fighting against it. You seem to have momentarily enraged him, but his men now are sort of pushing towards you all. One of them's knocking over the gambling table. That they're so enraged that some of them are going for their guns. Some of them just look to be pistol whipping, doing it. They just want to get to you. As this fat man just gets brighter red face as he struggles against it, as you've really got their attention. But you can see the rest of the people in the bar are like giggling a little bit. This has been quite a good show for them. See Burrows get his comeuppance. Old Bill, it's back to you.
All right. I guess I'll draw my gun as well because I don't want to be caught short. And I'm going to level it at the guy that I've just pushed behind the bar to kind of threaten him and maybe make it clear to everybody that if they start shooting, this guy's going to go down first. I don't quite know what that will come under. I just don't want to be the one to fire the first shot, to be honest.
Probably charisma, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Intimidating.
Yeah. No, intimidate is a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Roll your effect then. Well, it's probably. You were using a gun. What you said that.
Oh right.
Weapon.
Yeah.
You can have weapon effort, so that's D6 plus
you.
whatever bonus you've got for that. I think you've got a bonus on that.
Sorry. Yep. Yeah, +1, so a 3 in total.
Okay, so you level your gun at him, and he does what he does is he just ducks behind the bar, just taking cover. He doesn't seem to want to get in your way, but he's equally not the man to de-escalate the situation either. Let's see, Lucky Sandy, can you do anything to resolve this?
I think I'm just going to, the guy having got off me now, I'm going to step up off of the stool, saunter over to Burrows, plant my hands on my hip, stare him in the eye and say, are you such a kind of man, sir, who would need to push around a hapless gent as this? Shoot down an innocent horse and throw your weight around? How will that stand when you look the Lord in the eye at the end of days? Turn your better cheek, sir.
Well, let's see if he does turn his better cheek or not. Roll a charisma check against 10. This is now because it's back to normal.
I think he only has one cheek, and it is not better.
You haven't got not quite enough
Fantastic.
charisma bonus, is it? No.
In fact, can I replace any check with a draw against the GM? Being as
You
I am.
can.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
You can. You meant to, I think, call that before you
Beforehand.
do
Right.
it. But
I shall bear that in mind.
But go ahead and do it, because we'll into it. So go ahead and draw. I've got my card here.
Oh.
5 of diamonds. Yeah, so I'm afraid.
Well, there we go. My luck is not with me right now.
Yeah, he rips his shirt out of the of where it's been pinned and tries to swing it. Says, "Turn the other cheek. This man's lost all my goods," and like starts barreling towards you with his like shirt sleeves all ripped, with part of his jacket still pinned to the bar behind him. Deadwood Kid.
I said I want to listen to my friend playing his tunes. Bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
Plus weapon effort is plus dex is 13.
Okay. Yeah. What are you trying to hit? Oh, are you doing your revolver thing?
And I think on a successful pistol shot, I can roll d6 as well. So I shall do that now. And that is 1. Is that 1 additional target? I think maybe you could choose to roll 1d6 by that many bullets.
I think let's have it. Otherwise, it's potentially quite disappointing.
Yeah. So again, a couple of the fellas who are just beginning to lunge into action, and then click, 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 click is the cylinder of the revolver, which hasn't quite fully, fully been loaded while I was trying to listen to the tunes.
Yeah.
Empties.
Go for it. Roll your weapon effort, which is I think d6 plus whatever your
7.
Okay, that will in fact be enough. How does this hail of bullets, Jag, cause this situation somehow to be de-escalated? Do you think?
I think nobody was expecting the gunfight to actually go off. Clearly, Mr. Burrows is well respected, well regarded, or feared. Choose, delete as appropriate within town, and the fact that there is this loud gunshot or hail of it going on just stops everyone in their tracks. The muerto playing the piano continues playing, and that's the only thing that rings out. And there is this kind of resonant sound of La Pantera's strings just harmonizing with it as well. And then there is just silence, which is broken by the braying of a horse outside. Enter GM.
Yeah,
I want to be playing an acoustic Thunderstruck by AC/DC at this point.
And nobody knows what to do. It's like, oh, we weren't expecting that.
And the trader who was sort of pushed over says, "Gee," sort of gets him. He says, "Fellas, lady, maybe I can buy you a drink in the other bar. Perhaps we should go and go there." And Burrows sort of nods from there as he sort of gestures you to step out and maybe get a drink with him. Which I assume you do.
Which we will do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get our knife back.
Most certainly.
So he introduced as so cut to a slightly dirtier but less highfalutin bar, where the man who you have saved from the attentions of Burrows is sat you down, and he has indeed found what little money he has and bought a few drinks. Says, "Oh, thanks for that. It was I don't know what I'm going to do. Taking a caravan for him from the Hepua Nation, and it's just as I said. We were ambushed by the caves in Ghost Mountain. Men coming out of the caves. Saw strange sights. Heard the howl of the coyote, and then all of a sudden they were upon us. Have you ever heard of anything like that?"
So sounds strange and dangerous, but they may still have your goods. We could get them back for you.
Yeah, they see. Well, I think they've got some of the caravan men as well. The same thing happened. It turns out when I got here, there were people talking about the Kleinschmidt caravan. The same thing had happened to that a few weeks back. But no one's ever heard of stuff going on in the caves in Ghost Mountain. Nobody would live in there. It's where all this wrongness started, where the demons started coming out. But these weren't demons; these were men. Men like you and I, as he like grabs your lapels.
Desperation enough will drive people to find refuge anywhere, even if that anywhere is wrong.
The
Yes.
abominable creatures hide from the Lord inside those caves. They could have corrupted and twisted these men, sent them out with ill intent.
He says, "Yeah, I do. I do think that may be the case. Yeah, the cargo that Burroughs had me pick up was many of the crafts that the Hepua make, and they store their souls in them. So it was an unusual cargo to take anyway. But I shiver to think what they want with such trinkets within the caves."
How did those things attack you when they came out? You must have tried to fight back.
We did indeed. We heard the howl of the coyote as we got there, and soon an ill wind came in, and soon they were upon us. It was as if we hadn't even seen them, as if they came out of thin air. Men, even some women as well, dressed in just plain, normal clothes. They looked just like you and I. We didn't know what was happening at first. I assumed it was some that didn't know they were attacking us. Maybe they were people who needed rescuing. For they screamed and laughed at us as they fell about. It was only when we noticed the blood that we realised that they were dragging the caravans off for various things. I got on old Nell and rode away as soon as we could. His horse isn't next to him in the bar, but he's pretending to pat it. So she's a good old horse. She's seen me right so far, the fastest in the West. So I had some good friends on that caravan. This was going to be my retirement fund. If I could get that stuff back, why I wouldn't have a need of a horse like that. You could have it. Plus whatever you find once Burroughs has his stuff. I think Kleinerschmidt has written off the losses that he put there, and that there's bound to be other stuff in the mountain.
Well, don't you worry about it. We're gonna deal with these demons. We're gonna get the stuff back. And then we're going to have a grand old fiesta.
Says, yeah,
and then I'll look round to see if everybody else is agreeing with me or whether I've just signed up to something on my own.
Absolutely. This will be worth doing just to stick it to those bullies back there in that other bar.
And we get a free horse, I'll say, quite delighted.
The fastest in the West, he says, loading his spent revolver.
Yeah.
You cast your mind back to the horses that you've seen outside the bar, and there's none of the three that you saw there looked as if they were the fastest in this town, let alone the West. The fastest outside. One of them might be the fastest outside this bar at the moment, but hard to tell
more will be.
which one it is.
Maybe not the fastest, but brave enough to survive whatever horrors came out that cave, and that's worthy of some respect, even on four legs.
Says, and as you are discussing this, a sort of shadow falls over you, and as you look up, you see the figure. You just catch the glint of a star as the sheriff just stands over your thing. So I thought I might find you here, Crow, as a gesture to the man. Says, these you and your new associates. Look, bit of trouble in the Desert Flower back then, wasn't there? Burroughs is an important man. I overheard you saying you're going to try and get his stuff back. That would be a mighty good idea, to try and calm him down and clear your name, Crow, because he's talking about getting big highfalutin lawyers out here from another of the towns. I don't know. Thinks he's back in the real world. I think. Don't think there are many lawyers in here, but it has opened a gate to hell. You never know what will come through from there. So. Yeah, probably best if you follow through with this, as he claps you on the shoulders and bring him his stuff back. Sound like a deal?
You got yourself a deal. If it avoids any kind of legal trouble or anything getting worse, and if we can, like I say, if we stick it to that man Burroughs, then it sounds like everybody will be happy.
Indeed. Crow says it's about a day's ride. I can show you where the caravan went. We can set off at first light. We'll I know a place you can stay. They've got some rooms up here that'll keep us out of the way of Burroughs there.
That seems reasonable.
Fantastic. So Is there anything you want to do that night in preparation or before you set off in the morning?
Gamble a little, lose or win, and then get some sleep.
Braunstein was kind of intrigued by the story of the priest, whether he had seen terrible things or was traumatized or had just become addicted to gambling and lost his faith. But if that's just a sad man's tale, then I'm sure we can skip past it.
I think we can. It is a sad man's tale, but I think we can do it as a quick check. If you want to try and, because he's in the other bar, obviously, where you're probably not that welcome now. You left before it. If you want to try and catch him and maybe have a conversation with him and find out if he knows anything that might be useful, certainly that's what you can do. It will be a check though. Again, I might make it 10.
Yep.
Because we're still technically in that scene. Probably, well, depends on how you're going to approach this. Probably charisma if you're going to try and talk your way in, but you could
that's
make a case for something else if you want to.
No, I'll stick with charisma, even though I'm not great at it. But I did roll a 12, so good
fantastic. So, how do you manage to you paint the scene a bit, Alex? How do you manage to catch the ear of this priest and get a moment with him?
I think I probably have to talk my way into the desert flower and stop there being another fight. And I think Broadstein just sort of throws his friends in it a little bit. So when they say you're bad news, he says, no, my friend the mariachi and the gunslinger and the gambler, they were the ones that were making all the trouble. I just wanted things to calm down. And
they're bad news. It's not you.
Yeah, exactly. And the jittery barman who's probably reaching for a 6-shooter is willing to let me in. So I kind of find the priest if he's still at the gambling table. I tap him on the shoulder. I've got my holy book in my hand. I've got my Bible, my cross quite prominently displayed, and I say, "Man of God is a rare sight in these parts, but it's a shame to see him so down at heel. Why don't you step away from the gambling table a second, there, friend?"
He says, I should quit while I'm ahead, shouldn't I? He picks up his book and he says, I want it back, I want it back. It's about time I had some luck. He says, truth be told, I keep seeing things as he sort of goes off to coming with you. Strange sight. It's as if the mountain's calling to me, asking me to go. I see it in my dreams. Hear the howl of coyotes, the smell of something rising, some brimstone from the hills. And every time I wake up, it's there.
Could be the call of God, couldn't it? It's telling you your holy work is up on the mountain.
No, nothing of God came from there. How can we find our faith, old man, when we're here, lost? What has even become of the world?
Well,
the dead walk, and he takes a tot of his whiskey.
Sometimes, friend, I've found that when one loses one's faith, they have to go out into the world to seek it. If you continue to gaze within as you've done, all you'll look to do is fill that void with gambling and with liquor. I think maybe men like you and I have to go forward, go out into the world, drive out the devils, drive them down into the earth and back down into hell. I don't think the Lord's gaze has totally shied away from this place. Well, my friends and I are going to go out there and perhaps see what we can do about these creatures. Perhaps you could come with us or just stay here, and if you were to prey on our good success instead of fritting away everything at the gambling table, that would mean a lot too. You have to do something, or you'll just stay here and rot and wait for the devil to claim you.
He says, go to the mountain. Go to the mountain with you. Do you want to make me a roll if you want to try and convince him to do that? I think if you don't, then he may. Well, the stakes are that if you don't, he's not going to sort of pray for you. He's going to realize that what you're doing is potentially going to anger whatever it is that's bothering him. So
I'll be playing a mountain high enough from the other ring.
It just echoes down the street.
Yeah, I'm going to push it. This man needs some straight talking. No.
Yeah, he says. He says, "Oh no, I couldn't. I'm not as this young athletic priest says to you,
Yeah,
old age and big beard. I'm not built for that kind of travel, like you are, old timer. I think I'll just stay back here and pray for you. Maybe I'll go back to chapel and make sure we pray for your future in Ghost Mountain, because you'll surely need it. You'll surely need our prayers.
Well, thank you. Well, when I get to those pearly gates, and Lord knows it might not be too long, at least I'll know I did everything I could for you. I just hope that when you get there, you'll be able to say that you did everything you could for yourself, my friend. Go back to the chapel. You won't find anything here. I'll get up and I'll leave them.
Okay, so are there any other evening activities you want to do before you set off?
I mean, I just want to like generally pump the crowd for information, so I'll be asking around all of town. Basically, do my performance, holding out the sombrero for loose change and notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And but I'll just try and get any rumors or information or anything we might learn from just generally the town by putting a festival of sound.
Any tips? Yeah. Do you want to roll me an easy check? So just need to get a 7 or higher.
Yeah.
Probably with charisma, I'd imagine.
I'm going to make sure I'm wearing my embroidered sombrero to get +3 to charisma tests, just in case.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I get a total of 10. It's fine.
Yeah, so in fact, it wasn't just the embroidered sombrero, but that certainly helped. They look reluctant to share until you don your hat, and then they can't resist but give you the snoop on what's happened recently. Yeah, you get everything confirmed that you already know. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, another caravan was ambushed. Didn't make it there. Kleinschmidt, though, the guy who was paying for that to be delivered, it seemed to be similar. It was a truck from the Happar Nations. He seems to have written it off, though. He didn't seem that concerned, although some people are sharing rumors that, you know, none of the people from that caravan survived. And so there's all sorts of garish tales that they've been sort of killed, all killed on the mountain, or they've been run off, or whatever, or that Burrows might have been in with Kleinschmidt and knew exactly what he was doing from there. You find out some rumors about the mountain. The idea, like, generally it seems to be seen as like the source of all the ills of this place. People see demons and devils come from it. The idea that anyone could sort of live near it or around it is unlikely. Part of the reason why it's so lucrative to run caravans is because it's seen as so dangerous to do that. So yeah, that's the information you get.
Okay.
You get loads of tales of how deadly it is and garish descriptions of what will happen if you go to the Ghost Mountain and leave the trail or leave the path, and what brutal things will happen to you from there.
I'll be going around. What I'll do as well with my hat collections is be finding some gamblers, some inveterate gamblers. I'll be betting on us like coming back. So have you heard these guys are going to go on the mountain? I bet they'll never come back from Ghost Mountain. And I'll get some long odds by showing some of the tales and then try and bet on myself to come back. So if I do come back, great. And if I don't, then well, I don't care about money anyway. So it's fine.
Yeah. All the thing about what it's the old timer and the kid are going to Ghost Mountain. That's ridiculous. Oh, it's a shame. I like that kid. They're all saying. Beautiful. Jack, do you have any plans before you go? No, we don't have to, but
Well, he knows that this is probably going to be his last night, so he goes and finds some comfort in the local bordello and uses that as an opportunity to find out whether or not any of Kleinschmidt's company had left their mark here, and whether there's any tittle tattle, any pillow talk to be revealed.
okay. So as far as pillow talk goes, you get largely the same content as everyone else has fallen out. There's not a lot to do. It does seem that Kleinschmidt and his men vanished very suddenly when it emerged that his caravan wasn't coming back. And it was like just overnight they sort of up and left. They didn't seem to be that keen on, Burrows has stuck around and he's trying to blame people for his caravan going missing, and as said he'll get people to deal with it and hire people to get it back. But Kleinschmidt just seemed to leave it and go, and his men just vanished overnight from there.
And did Dolores have any inside information about what was in this cargo?
Yeah, they say it was that just describes it as like weird weird jars and magic stuff and little charms that they make. They say they can trap men's souls, and says the word souls is like echoes around the room when she says that, as if it was like an actual thing. Probably just an old wives' tale, though. I don't believe any of that stuff.
I'm imagining whoever was trying to say was palming it off as some kind of aphrodisiac. Well,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
no, honestly, it helps.
Yeah.
No.
Fantastic. Right, so without any more ado, let's cut to the morning and the long trail up to Ghost Mountain. You've got a whole day of this, and Crow is coming with you to show you exactly where the caravan route went, and he tells a long tale as you make your way through the baking desert sun up towards the caravan. I'm assuming you've all got horses.
I think I've got a burro, so I'm riding on which is why I'm super keen that we get the free horse, so that I can join with the rest of my companions on the same level.
Yeah. Everyone's a bit of them. Yeah.
But my massive hat's kind of like the same height as a.
Keep having to wait for La Pantera to catch up. Excellent. Yeah. So you do. You make your way. You stop for some repast in the midday, and you can see the shadow of Ghost Mountain is upon you, and you can think about what might be happening in there as it looms ominously on the horizon. But your journey there passes largely without incident. Until you hear Crow say, "Yeah, we're getting close there. This is where it started to go a bit weird." And you feel you're in the sort of baking heat, but suddenly it feels a bit more oppressive and darker than it was, and you feel as if there's something harsh on the wind against you, and you see out the corner of your eyes shapes crossing and running across the path. He says, "Yeah, it was near here," and then you hear the howl of these coyotes that cuts through you and chills you to the bone. I'm going to ask you, as you hear this ghostly howl, this terrifying howl, I'm going to ask you to all make a test to try and resist this terrifying howl of a ghost coyote. So this will be with wisdom. This scene is, I'm afraid, target 12. So you need to hit 12 or more with it. That. Okay, so Old Bill, the Deadwood Kid, and Sandy are fine. You are prepared for this, and indeed are sorted with that. However, La Pantera, you feel the chill through your bones. You can take. So do you want to mark 1 point of health off you? You have 10. Each heart is worth 1. As you just shake and shiver like a castanets, is it? Or maracas? I don't know whether it's, so I don't know my authentic mariachi instruments that you've got. Your knees knocked together. Were it not for your burro.
It's not me, it's the burro, I say. Because it looks at me with one eye.
The burro's fine. And then looming out of the dust before you, you see this pack of coyotes that are ghostly, seeing that seem to be almost passing through you, as if these ghosts are here to torment and attack you. I'm going to mix it up actually and start maybe with Sandy this time. So Shane, how do you deal with these coyotes? It almost, as you look around also, you can't really see apart from the path. It's dust all around. They seem to have swirled up a whippoorwill that means it's very hard to see where you would go or where you'd go. And your horse is nervously sort of pad. Crow is going, "Oh, this is just what happened before. Oh no," as he's making to run away again. But Shane, what does Sandy do first up?
Can I reach out and grab the reins of Crow's horse and pull it closer to mine so that he cannot rush off into the mist whilst preparing my revolver for future use?
Fantastic. Yeah, you reach out and pull his the fastest horse in the west, towards it as he's going, oh, no, it's just the same. It's not. And it starts sort of padding around. Oh, the revolvers will be no good against them. Can you see? They'll pass right through them, those bullets.
That is what bullets are supposed to do, sir, causing some harm on the way.
Love it, I love it. Moving on, next turn, Jag, what are you up to?
So the Deadwood Kid starts to arc around towards where this pack of coyotes is going. Take up a little bit of distance between him and the rest of the crew, and closing in on the pack. And as he does, loosens his hand grip on the reins, picks out both revolvers, and just lets loose.
Fantastic. Do you want to roll me a check, probably with Dex, to do
17.
that? 17 is going to be enough to hit, even with, I should have said, hitting these things with sort of normal weapons is hard. So you need a 15 to hit there. Do you want to roll your weapon effect dice?
That is 6 in total.
Wowzers. Okay, so yeah, your bullets rip through them, and you see that the pack sort of scatters and starts to sort of reform. But even within the ghostly form, you can see that some of the coyotes are limping and like howling at the moon as if they're so. Just to make sure we get the rules right, you've got a challenge to overcome here that you can do by attacking, combat, or any other action really that will help you to escape the coyote's trap. So it can be by firing guns like the Deadwood Kid just did, or it can be by whatever sort of way you think you might have to it. How magic works is old Bill, you have some spells, but you can also just say, I'll try and do this and roll an effect dice and see what it does. Okay. But back up to La Pantera, you're next.
Yeah, I assume everybody else is equally affected with fear as I am, because I'm the bravest of them all. So they must be terrified. So I'm going to play Bad Moon Rising, because these things come with extra heat in the sunshine. So I'm going to try and play a nighttime tune to give them the chills and see if that makes them back off and think it's time to go back to the mountain.
Fantastic. Why don't you make a roll? It's probably charisma, that.
I think so.
I think.
With my hat firmly upon my head.
Yeah.
I roll a 23.
that is successful.
Yeah, good.
Roll your so it's weapon or equipment, the effect dice. So given that you're using you can have that for the guitar, not for the sombrero.
Well, outrageous. I get a 5 in total.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. You notice a few of them like turning away with chills and looking a little bit unaffected as this as it sort of echoes around the mountain and Bad Moon Rising, as if this is the kind of song they sometimes hear after dark and they don't want to get involved in. Old Bill now.
I think I'm going to I don't want the kid to be out alone with the mist and the coyotes closing round, so I'm going to kind of get in my horse and catch up with him, and then I'm going to use a spell, Renew Faith. I need to touch an ally, so I need to get close to him, and if I'm successful, I'll give him a hero coin, which he can cash in for various handy effects.
And I think, does that mean he's immune to harm? It's not the one that is.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, no.
That's a hero coin is like a currency you can get.
Yeah.
You can only have them one at a time. You can either cash it in to reroll any die roll, or cash it in to add D12 onto a die roll, or give it to someone else.
Yeah, and you can just do that whenever. You can just do that.
Yeah.
Right, I'll spend a hero point, so you can reroll that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I need to successfully cast a spell, but if I do, Jag's got that
Go for it.
ready to
Your
go.
wisdom.
Well, it's good we explain the rules because I failed to cast a spell.
Yeah, the howling winds seem to not affect you, and in a throwback to the Weird Frontiers game, I think in this cursed land, your faith cannot be reached.
Yeah.
Or maybe
So
the Deadwood Kid had no faith to begin with to be renewed.
exactly. Maybe
Who
my
will
words
know?
are just whipped away by the wind as I put my
Yeah,
hand on his
it's lost.
shoulder and
Yeah.
say something. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Facing the bordello last night. That's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, it's me, I think now, isn't it? Yes, you've all had a go. Yeah, well, as you do that, I think that gets the attention of these coyotes who are going to lunge indeed at the Deadwood Kid. What's your defense?
Well, I have Phantom Duster that gives me +2 armor and +2 ultimate effort, and my armor overall is +3.
So they need 13 to hit you. That will hit you. So you are going to take, as they pass through you, you're going to take a huge 3 points of damage as you are beset by ghostly coyotes that send chills through your bone from there. But Shane, it is you now. You are more than halfway through getting these coyotes. The pack that you had doesn't look quite as good. There's sort of gaps in the sand that are surrounding you, as if you are making your way towards escaping these.
So I'm going to hang tight onto the reins to stop Crow riding off, because there's no way we can catch the fastest horse in the West if it takes off. And then I'm going
It seemed to be hanging back actually when you made your way here. It was a little slower than La Pantera's burro. In fact,
conserving its energy for the big sprint to come.
Lost a shoe. Yeah.
And I'm going to just begin to fire shot after shot after shot into the coyotes.
Go for it. Make it right. It's hard to just fire shots, and so 15 is what you'll need.
Oof. How about I roll a long way away from that?
Yeah, there's your horses start like panicking a little bit. They didn't seem scared by the coyotes, but this random gunfire seems to be making them a little bit skittish. And particularly, actually, the horse that Crow's on, who's like rearing up. It's going, no, you'll frighten her. You'll frighten her. It was just like this last time, and he's just like holding onto her neck, trying to comfort himself. Can the Deadwood Kid have more luck?
Yeah, he absolutely can. The Deadwood Kid before he was a class act gunslinger, he was a boy rustler, and he used to go around the farms and the prairies, rounding up all manner of wildlife, broken horses to be broken, all this kind of stuff. And what he's doing is he's reloading his weapons. He's using his incredibly dexterous horseplay. No, that was last night. His incredibly dexterous horseplay to weave his way around the coyotes and round them up. They are a pack. They understand that their mission is to surround us, but he is surrounding them and rounding them up to the rest of the crew to have them absolutely fraught with confusion. That's what he's doing.
I like the dressage versus ghosts approach that you're taking. I think that's inventive. Riding a horse is probably maybe Dex. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's the best option, I think. That works for me. 8. And yeah, there's no weapon effort involved really, is there? And ultimate effort's not really going to work there. I'm not sure what my Phantom Duster's ultimate effort.
So you could spend a hero coin and add a D12 to that.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So it's 4 plus 4 plus my D12 of 6, and that's 14 in all.
Fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, do you want to roll? I'll let you have weapon effort because it's equipment and you've got sort of a horse sort of equipment, doesn't it? I'll let you have that D6 plus whatever your bonus is on that.
Oh, well, that's 10 in that case. All
right. That is in fact enough to dismiss them. Do you want to just describe how you managed to dispel these ghost coyotes then with your horseplay?
Well, it's a combination of the sound of dead moon rising, and that is kind of giving a kind of rhythm to the way that the Deadwood Kid's mare moves, and there is an ululation of the Deadwood Kid as he tries to surround and coerce these coyotes into their rightful position, which is in the midst of us. And as he does that, they're rounding up and they're swirling around, and they swirl around so much that actually they dissipate into a swirl of mist.
Fantastic. It happens just like that, and the dust clears, and you can see that the road that you're on was just about to get to a sort of pass, and you can see clear signs of at least one scuffle here where maybe some caravans have been attacked, and maybe they've been dragged along into that path. You can just make out now behind the rocks into the mountain, possibly leading deeper into Ghost Mountain. And Crow says, yes, this is the place. Oh, I never thought I'd live through that again. You people must be real heroes.
I could feel your presence there, old Bill.
I am no hero, sir, but I ride with some.
There's a strange presence up here on the mountain. We're getting closer to it. It means we're on the right track, but sadly, it means that some of the Lord's blessings may not shine upon us. We may have to rely on our steel and our wits.
Indeed, yeah. So I think, and it turns out the Deadwood Kid had a hero point anyway, hero coin anyway. It seems, as I think I forgot that you failed your spell roll to give him that correctly. But anyway, as he says, you're all some kind of heroes. You all get a hero coin, so we'll have that in practice as you can then make your way deeper into Ghost Mountain to find out what's become of the missing caravan. And that is the point where we will take a short break. We'll take a quick 10-minute break. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes as we enter Ghost Mountain. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. When we left our heroes, they were just about to explore Ghost Mountain further, having defeated the ghost coyotes and managed somehow to stop Flying Crow from riding off with the fastest horse in the West, who I think we've established is in the top 5 fastest horses in this party now, possibly, although the burros keeping pace pretty well. After defeating the ghost coyotes without too much trouble, you actually managed to defeat them before. So Crow says, "Oh, when we were there, the coyotes came, and then there was an earthquake, but the ground seems pretty stable here." As he sort of leads you up, and you can see tracks of where stuff has been pulled into the mountains, and there is in fact a track you can follow. I'm going to see. I don't know who's leading the way into the mountain here. And what approach are they taking?
I reckon the old timer's got the most experience of mountains. What do you reckon, Alex?
Yeah, I was going to say, if no one else steps up, then old Bill is here. He thinks it's probably his job to lead this group.
It's the classic. The old timer's got the most experience of anything dangerous. So old Bill should naturally be the person that leads us over there. So yeah, you going carefully, stealthily? What sort of approach are you taking? Think of this as like switchbacks. It's sort of thick canyons on either side, would be perfect for an ambush, you realize. But there's no sign of anything apart from the coyotes that are around you. What sort of approach are you taking as you lead people deeper into the mountains?
I think I don't want to be too cautious here. Perhaps a blunder, because I think we're in their territory anyway, right? So if we try and cover every point, then we'll never get up this mountain, and they'll be able to pick and choose when to attack. So instead, Bill is trying to give everyone a good kind of point. So maybe the kid can stay at the back because he's perhaps got the sharpest eyes and can stop us from being snuck up on. Yeah, I'm gonna pick my way up somewhat carefully, just picking the safest possible route, and we'll just be ready to leap into action if anything attacks us. So carefully but steadily, in a nutshell.
Okay, so seeing as you're leading the way, you're about to round the corner and see something, but sort of what you see and how it reacts to you will depend upon how carefully and cleverly you are picking the way. I think it's probably a wisdom check, this scene, and it's quite a big one. It's for the Ghost Mountain is still target 12, so that's what you need to get on your roll. Remember, you've all got hero coin now.
I have a good wisdom score, but I don't even need it.
Fantastic. You leave the posse round the corner and quickly hold up your hand to stop them. Sneak round. As you see, there's an entrance to a cave above, quite a substantial cave entrance, the kind you could get a caravan train through. And next to it, you can see 3 figures, men dressed pretty much normally like people out on the trail, like trappers or people who are working outside, that are sat round a sort of campfire. Two of them are sat round with a pot boiling on it. There's another one that appears to be just stood up and sort of keeping watch, but obviously not very well. There's no sign that they've seen you yet. Rifles like propped up on the cave wall behind you, and you can just make out there's actually the sign of, you can see a torch, little oil lamp torch thing is a little bit into the cave. So certainly these caves are designed for people to be in and maybe live in. It's not just, these people aren't just stopping. This is clearly where they are. As they're, you can sort of, you're a bit far away at the moment to hear exactly what they're talking about, but they seem to be sort of arguing about something. Let's just continue sort of going around the table. So Sandy, what's your response to this, Shane?
Well, I think I'm going to, first of all, keep an eye on Crow and make sure he doesn't try to bolt again. And I'm going to then sort of say to him, Mr. Crow, sir, did any of this seem familiar to you last time? Do you recognize any of these doings and occurrences? Them up there?
He says, I bolted as soon as we saw the coyotes and the ground starting to shake. Do you think that some of my men might still be alive in there?
I don't know if that would be a kindness or not, but it might be worth a look.
He says, "Oh yeah. Maybe I should sneak in."
Well,
He says, and he starts
caution.
getting off his horse.
Caution, Crow. You'll do no good joining them in the Lord's care.
Oh, very well, but we should get back. Are you going to shoot them then?
Well, I'm going to seek the counsel of my wise and brave friends, and we shall decide what to do together. Rash action here will lead only to an untimely demise.
Speaking of rash action, Deadwood Kid, what are you doing while this discussion is going on?
I'm looking closely at the attire of these men and whether or not, from the stuff that I've seen laid about at the Bordello and other places around town, whether any of these may be Kleinschmidt's men or maybe of an earlier time. And at the same time, I'm looking at, is there a route in this gloominess? Is it dimness? Are we still in the middle of the day?
Yeah, the sun's setting now. There's a day's travel to Ghost Mountain, so just about sunset.
Whether there's a route to where they are to sneak in and just obtain a position of some advantage, perhaps remove their rifles, possibly. But primarily in the first instance, while I'm still with the rest of the group, is, do any of these look familiar? If I hear that Sandy is talking to Crow, does Crow recognize any of the badges, the colors of these?
Okay. Crow doesn't recognize them. Do you want to make me a wisdom check to see if you can recognize them and maybe scope out the area to get around? Again, it's 12 to...
I mean, I'd love to, but it's unlikely. An 8.
Yeah, I mean, you don't... There's nothing that links exactly to what the people at Bordello said about what they were wearing. They're just wearing they just look like normal people that might be out. There's no distinguishing sort of marks or anything.
So the Devil Kid's, he's looking around. He's kind of looking at all these different possibilities, and he's just spread himself a bit too thin to be able to focus.
And for all their lack of alertness, there doesn't appear to be an obvious sort of route round to get the drop on them. If somebody made a distraction and lured them out, then possibly you could sneak in or do something you think. You maybe share that with the rest of the group, but there's not an obvious way to sort of circle around and get the rifles and then get a jump on them. Let's go to La Pantera.
Well, La Pantera, with his fabulous decorum and dress sense, is not one for sneaking about around people or anything like that. He's going to wander up as everybody's like planning and looking around at the routes. He's going to unsling his guitar and with his jangling spares just head up, playing Strangers in the Night as he does, and just hold a hand up. Basically, if anyone else wants to do anything else, this would be a wonderful distraction, he's thinking. And it's never not worked before, so he's going to go and so he's going to like try and speak to these people and warm them with his charm, and hopefully give a distraction to anyone else who wants to do something more sensible.
Okay, yeah, one of them immediately, like the one that's on lookout, sort of goes for his rifle straight away. He's like, "What? Stop! Stop! What? Who goes there? What? How did
Oh,
they?"
my friend, thank God I found you. Tell me at least you have some tequila. My throat is parched like the desert. Oh, I've been wandering since my brave burro died out there to the coyotes on the plains. You must have something for me.
The coyotes? The coyotes? He survived the coyotes. The two are like getting up and dusting themselves off and doing it. Tequila? Well, this isn't. Well, it's not really what you need to go. And they're sort of. We should just shoot him. Oh, you can't say that. You can't just shoot him. And they start sort of arguing a little bit about it.
Don't just shoot me. How else? I'm here to tell someone about the magnificent caravan on its way. If you shoot me now, you'll never know about it.
Oh, just shoot a magnificent caravan. Oh, it's a trap. It's a trap. Roll me a charisma check to see if you can indeed distract them and create a distraction.
I get 15.
That is indeed enough. So luckily, the sombrero, after you're talking about your dead burro, and it walks out from behind the rock, but luckily a big sombrero like covers it from their vision as they do it. Yeah, I imagine your burro's got like sort of red tassels on and stuff as well. It's very distinctively yours. Yeah, it's not some random.
I made the classic skill by error of saying tequila, which is like the thing that always gets it excited. So I shouldn't have said the T word. Yeah.
Yeah, your blinged up burro comes around the corner and does that. Yeah, so they're like, "Well, it's a caravan. Well, tell us more before we shoot you, or maybe we don't shoot you. There's a caravan coming around the corner," you say, and they are like, they sort of invite you around the fire. These three men, and you can see that
I'll start laying on one of my extraordinarily long tails. It's like, well, let me start at the beginning, and then.
Oh yes. So momentarily, these three men are distracted by your mariachi. I think Old Bill, as the de facto leader, are you leading people in, or what's your action now? I've distracted the three men, and then.
Does it look like they're going to attack the mariachi eventually? Does it seem like we need to deal with them before they deal with us, or if we all get in, is there a possible chance of sneaking past? I guess.
I think there's a possible chance of sneaking past. They seem to be quite entranced. They don't seem to be that. They were reluctant to shoot him even before he started his sort of tall tale. He sort of went for his rifle, but didn't like gestured with it. It wasn't sort of loaded and held straight at him.
With that said, I also don't want to leave our friend high and dry if we do just all abandon him. So maybe what I want to do is I want me and maybe the kid as well to get behind them with our guns drawn so that we've got the drop on them. And then maybe we can get something useful out of them. Or if it all goes south, we can open fire. So I want to sneak behind them, and I want the kid to do the same. I don't know if I can do a roll that would help him and help me at the same time.
I think let's just do it on one roll for the two of you to get behind, or three if Lucky Sandy's doing the same.
She might as well, yeah.
Well, I was thinking if I stay here, that means we've got him on a couple of sides.
Yeah.
More shot.
Good call. Yep.
Cool. Well,
I don't necessarily think Crow will be much of a sneaker.
He's quite keen to go there. It's like, oh God, you're having to hold him back. Go ahead, make me to sort of get behind them. I think with what's going on, this is probably Dex still.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we'll let you roll for you and the kid, if you see what I mean, and then we'll see.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not great at this, but I might be able to make it work. Oh, good enough. More than good enough, I should hope.
You say that. Yeah, La Pantera, as you begin your tale, begin saying of the like 3 towns back from where the caravan was first assembled. You can see that the shadows of your fellow men are creeping up behind these men, and you realize you've got pretty much completely the drop on them. Sandy, you can have your gun drawn as well, labeled on them. What's the sort of plan with this? how you playing it. They're still completely unaware of anything apart from the mariachi. What's
I
it look
think
like here?
take them alive and have a conversation seems like a good idea.
Okay, so you're going to like pistol whip them or just sort of grab them and
Yeah,
bundle them
I
around?
think sort of, grab them, bundle them down, pistols sort of pointed at them, trying to avoid gunshots to draw any other attention, if that meets everybody's approval.
That was kind of my plan.
Okay, so why don't we... So La Pantera, just sit tight for now. Do the three of you each want to make... So the three of them, just make me a test each. It's going to be easy, this. So it's going to be 9. Probably dex or strength. I'll let you do either to just sort of overcome them. We'll not do it with effect. We'll just let you sort of... If you make it, you do it. Okay. So, old Bill, you get yours to the ground, muffled, so on. Sandy, similarly, the one who was a little bit out with the rifle, you managed to knock his rifle out of his hands and grab him and get him on the ground. Deadwood, though, for some reason, you don't manage to get the drop on yours. What do you think happens so that he gets the upper hand?
I think I'm still kind of getting caught up actually in Pantera's story. And I remember this story from last time he told it. And I remember just how great an effect it had, because he tells it better and better every time. And this must be about 7th or 8th time he's used this trick on bandit group or another. And it just causes me to scuff this little stone that makes one of them, the one that I'm behind, flinch a little bit. And he notices, he doesn't turn around entirely, but he catches my shadow just move on the stone beside him. And then he's cautious. And just as I'm about to pounce in with everyone else, he's already got me. And he takes me, he spins around and pulls me down by the waist, and I'm on the floor and he's on top. It's the absolute reverse of the rest.
Everyone else is sorted, but he's on top of you. You feel the cold of a knife at your throat as he's like looking around and trying to weigh up his options. La Pantera, you could continue the story or pause it now to try.
It worked last time, so what could possibly go wrong? I'm going to flick out my Bowie knife, or I'm going to pin his arm to the floor. So he's not got his knife at my friend's throat anymore.
Excellent.
So that's
Maybe the roll then.
And that's when I'll be telling the bit where we had to stop because a snake struck at someone, and with that, there's a flash of silver as my knife goes flying somewhere. We'll find out where in a minute. 20, natural 20.
Yeah. I think that'll let you do it. Yeah, straight pins him down, and you've got these guards, for want of a better word, overpowered, and they say, "What you want? You can't do this." What? And then
my friends, don't worry. Like, we're all genial friends here. Don't worry. And despite everything going on, I'll be acting like we're still best buddies. And like,
there's like one of them's going, "I told you it was a trap. I don't know what. Don't tell me. What? But where did the caravan go next?" I said, "No, that's just a story. That was a trap, so the rest of them could come in." "No, but I want to know where the caravan went next." As they're like bickering amongst themselves.
If you cooperate and assist us, sir, maybe my companion will complete his tale.
If they cooperate and assist you, all we have to do is stop people coming in. But we don't normally have to do that.
Well,
the coyotes get them.
Not such a good job so far.
What are you doing in the mountains anyway?
We're looking to see what's going on and find out what's back there. And I gesture my head towards the cave.
Well, it's bound to happen sooner or later. We knew Halfpenny was getting a bit careless, but it doesn't matter anyway. Like the ritual's only in a few hours. He's got enough stuff now to do it. You could help. Join us. We just didn't want to share it with it. He's a genius. He's going to send us back to the real world. Just gets enough souls in there. Says he's read about all of it. Just do the ritual. It'll be this afternoon, he says. That's why we're so annoyed that we're out on guard duty and can't like participate in it. But yeah, it'll get us all around there, and by the grace of God, we'll go back to the real world.
So you're out here, you three. You're the ones he obviously does not wish to take with him then, as I don't see you at a ritual. Surely he has betrayed you, and you would do well to tell us what you know about what protects him.
Oh, Solly, you don't think they're going to use these three as the last souls to finish off the ritual, do you? You don't think that's why he's kept them out here?
I mean, I wouldn't like to say aspersions of the man doing the ritual, but it seems to me entirely likely.
I'm sure we were the only three that he could trust to make sure the ritual went through. Anyway, you don't want to interfere with the ritual. Terrible things could happen.
Oh, they already have to you.
Send us back to the real world. Make the dead stay dead again.
I still think you've been betrayed.
Do we know if such a thing would exist to be possible? Because I suspect as a player that sounds like nonsense. But is in game world, do we know anything about that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, Old Bill is the person who would know about that. Certainly, there are strange rituals that can summon demons and banish demons and so on. And there has been a great deal of sort of magical attempts to channel this to get you back to the world from there. And there are people involved in sort of researching and trying to find stuff like that. You've not heard of such a thing ever. Obviously, no such thing has ever been successful before, and it's not something that you've encountered in your sort of your studies of other spiritual religions, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but anyway, I mean, you can't. What are you going to do? Kill us now? Go and make sure the ritual happens, and the world will be done. And I mean, you could do that, and then they're like looking gingerly at each other, and you could. I mean, the ritual will happen anyway. We could just go back down to town, couldn't we? Like, there's no need for you to like kill us here. You could just leave us here. We could just walk off and not go in.
I don't think we're going to kill you, but I'm a bit worried about. Well, you haven't given us a reason to trust you, have you?
That's where we didn't shoot the mariachi, did we?
That's true. They didn't. I say so. On that side of the fight.
What if we split the difference and tied you up, and then if you, we'll come back out here, set you free, or the ritual will succeed. Everyone will be back in the real world, and we won't have to worry about it anymore.
They like look at each other. I don't want to be tied up. They sort of gingerly agree this is probably the best deal that they'll get. So yeah, and then if like when Halfpenny finds us, they'll know that we tried our best. Yeah, you tried our best, didn't we? We tried our best. We were overpowered by overpowered. That's it. Yeah, so they sort of consent to you tying them up to a rock or whatever and leave them there.
What can they tell us about Halfpenny? I'm kind of interested to know more about.
Okay, so they
could tell us as well about Halfpenny.
They sort of they share that this man Devonshire Halfpenny was a businessman, but now they describe him as a man of God. And his pilgrims have all assembled in the caves to help him with his grand plan to send Ghost Mountain back. And that they mention that in order to do this, he's had to find souls and good men to do it. And sometimes he started off stealing from the Epoa Nation, but then they got quite defensive, and so he had to start taking the odd caravan here and there, maybe getting the odd trader as they went. But to say, obviously the ritual's happening now, we needed the stuff now so we could do it tonight. But yeah, he did say this might happen. That's why he put us out, to not let anyone in. He's very clever though. He managed to. He did all the magical protections here. The ghost coyotes, he summoned them. Yeah, he used to be a businessman, priest, an older man, but you wouldn't know to see him. Might be in his 60s, but moves like a youngster, like he's 20.
Sounds more like a devil in human skin to me.
No, he's a genius. Wait until you meet him.
Dark powers, unnatural. Why, he can even banish my friend Old Bill.
And in fact, dark powers appear to have affected our recording as well. So we will just take a short break to reconstitute the world and get Old Bill back. We'll see you in a moment.
Old Bill has vanished.
Welcome back. After that slight disturbance at the mention of Halfpenny's ritual, Old Bill went out of sync for a moment, but he's back as if his very soul was shaken up by the news of this. You have a terrible feeling, Old Bill, that this kind of ritual may not be as honest in intent as you expected, and that you maybe have read some things that when things need lots of souls to power them, often they can be not that picky about whether those souls are souls that have been gathered in receptacles or magic items, or souls that are currently inhabiting living human beings.
Yeah, and Old Bill was going to ask these men about, if this is such a great idea, why is Halfpenny doing it up here in secret in the mountains and not down in the town where he could tell everybody about it? But they may well not have a good answer for that either. But it certainly makes me suspicious.
Well, he says he can't. I mean, he goes to the town, still goes and visits his family every so often. He's got his son. His son's he's a respectable man. His son's a priest down there.
Ah,
Still goes and visits so often. He's just a normal man like you were right. But he's got and from within the cave, this sort of you catch a sort of whiff of the torches being lit, and it's almost like an echo of a gong being chimed from deeper within.
Oh dear.
I
So,
do
yeah,
believe
yeah.
time runs short.
He says, yeah, go and join the ritual. Make sure it goes without a hitch, and then we'll all be back to the normal world again.
Well, I intend to join the ritual, but perhaps not to the aim that you think.
Join them, we certainly must.
We'll be in the room.
Okay, so you can venture into the caves. I'm going to say there's such a sort of commotion going on of people assembling. You can see there are maybe, there are everywhere you go, there are sort of these men and women are hustling and carrying these big jars and charms and stuff that's been made down into a central cavern. I think for the purposes of sort of pacing, we'll have a little montage of you sneaking from sort of cave side to cave side. It's all quite dimly lit, so you're able to sort of jump from rock to rock. You manage to infiltrate quite well with the previous roll to get past the guards, and so you can find yourself in a vast sort of natural cavern. You're sort of above the top observing what is happening, and there's a huge pile of these various trinkets and stuff at one side, and next to it, next to what can only be described really as an altar made of stone carved from it, you can see a sort of tall, portly white man with a monocle, who it must be the Devonshire Halfpenny by how everyone's referring to him. Next to him, you see a man who bears, he's sort of same kind of size, a little bit thinner, looks quite similar to the Devonshire Halfpenny, almost as if they're brothers, but this man is very definitely already dead. It doesn't stop him moving around though, and you see him shifting like huge piles of rocks to build up the ritual there, and lighting, like shifting huge braziers to light them. And pretty soon there are sort of 20 or 30 of these people sort of coming in to do it. You've got a sight sort of above of this going on, and you can hear him speak and say, brethren, the hour is at hand. It's time for us to finally rejoin the world. Thank you for all coming. It is important that we're all here in case any more souls are needed. For finally, with this ritual, we should be able to rejoin the world. And as he says this, you notice that sort of carved on the walls of these caves are sort of loads of sort of text, words, in Latin and various things. You can just about make out what they're hard to make out what they're saying, but as this sort of speech is going on, one of you who is learned in letters might be able to try and interpret them, see what they're saying. I'm looking probably at Old Bill here.
Indeed, yep, a man of learning, a chance to apply it. and knowledge of Latin not always needed out on the plane. So he's more than happy to get involved.
A little bit rusty, maybe, but yeah. So difficulty 12 would
Perhaps.
be an int check to try and.
Is there a helper mechanic at all, or is it just?
I think what you can do is you can make this easy if you can give me a good description of how you are helping.
Because I'm quite intelligent, but I'm probably used to reading music in a variety of languages. And I'm used to seeing scores and patterns. So I'm going to be looking for stanzas or where one part begins and one ends and stuff like that, and structure and representation from different cultures and things about how they make notations or things.
I'll go for that, so you can call them out to old Bill. So this will be easy. So you need a 9 or more. Nice.
Yep, that's successful.
Fantastic. Yeah, these the Latin and various bits of sort of old Greek that are in. I think this is text to the ritual, and you're pretty sure that this ritual is designed to channel the power of souls, but not into the world to bring it back to the world, but in fact to the person who constructs it. You think this is going to make Halfpenny, in fact, as he begins his chanting, he's going to be the one that's going to receive all this power, not the world. And it seems like it says it might need hundreds and hundreds of souls to power it, this ritual.
Well,
This man should remain a halfpenny and not become a dollar. He needs stopped.
Nice. Well, we've got another moment before the ritual gets in full swing. So Sandy or the kid, what are you doing to sort of prepare for this?
I'll make sure my pistols are loaded and try and move myself into the most advantageous position to stop people rushing up here and threatening the better shots in the group.
Fantastic. The kid, what are you up to, do you think?
Same, fully loaded and occupying a as good a position as I can in the opposite direction, so that we're not all bunched together, and we can provide some fire from different angles.
Okay, fantastic. And at that, the chanting begins, and you get a great sense of sort of something magically happening. The ritual will take, let's see, 4 rounds
Ages
to be fully complete. So we'll start going sort of clockwise around the way that we are on the screen, which is useful for Gaz, but not for you. But that's the sort of order we've been going all the way through. So we'll start with La Pantera. You can see that as this chanting is happening, strange spirits are moving, and there's a sense really that this is, you maybe even notice one of the men who's come in of this big crowd, like clutching at his heart as he sort of drops to the ground, as if his very soul is being ripped from his body, as a wind sort of whips through the cave. What are you doing to try and disrupt this final ritual?
I'm going to be playing Stairway to Heaven in a Latin acoustic style on Spanish guitar, and doing it discordantly to try and disrupt the flow that he's got. So
fantastic.
So I make a charisma roll for it.
You can. This can be effectively an attack on Devonshire, who is doing the ritual himself.
That's just a 9. I'm gonna re-roll. I think I'll spend my my special point, and I've decided that Stairway to Heaven is just like too cliche. There is everybody's playing that, so now I've got to quickly think of what else it is I'm playing. I'm gonna start playing Purple Haze because that's got lots of discordant notes in it, and that might really put him off. Yeah, that's much better. I get 23 that time.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you want to roll your effect to see how?
Sure.
What you do?
It's oh, hang on, take my D20 off. There we go. Effect of 6 in total.
Fantastic. Yeah, the man is still alive as this thing is disrupted. He's coughing and choking for breath, but the ritual is still going on. Old Bill, you're up next. What action are you taking to try and disrupt this?
I kind of want to set something up that might pay off next round, but also if it can help, then maybe I can roll an effort. It's kind of up to you guys. I've got a spell to destroy the dead, which I think may well come in useful here. that I certainly plan to cast on Devonshire's half-brother, who's definitely undead. I think I probably want to cast it on Devonshire himself, because although I don't think he's dead, maybe it'll mess up his magic in some weird way if he's summoning souls to himself.
Well, yeah,
and,
go on, sorry.
And any other undead that it will affect as well. But I'm happy to, I don't know, it doesn't really list a range, so I don't know if I need to get in the midst of them or if I can just cast it from up here.
You can just cast it from up here if you put some stuff in it. There's currently only one undead.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
If you see what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yep, let's do it. Okay. So I will roll. That's based on int, I believe. That's a success.
Indeed. Yeah. Do you want to roll your magic effect? Because this will rule this as disrupting the ritual. This is probably
so the list. I don't know if this will affect it, but the listing for the spell effect is destroy the dead, destroy one undead per 1 HP burned. So I can certainly burn a HP to destroy that his brother.
Yeah.
I'll probably be upset about.
Do that if you want. Yeah, that does indeed. How does
and
this
I can also roll an
manifest?
effect if you want to, or whatever you want.
Yeah. Do you want to roll an effect as well? Because this looks at the. We'll do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's roll a d8. 3.
Okay, and I think, do you get a +1 on that for your magic effort as well?
Oh yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so how does Edward Halfpenny, his brother, his dead brother, how does his demise come about? What does this look like?
So I stand up. Certainly, I have to reveal us, make us, well and truly the center of fire. But I think that was happening anyway. And I say, brothers Halfpenny, this ritual is only for your own selfish aggrandizement, and it's time that somebody put a stop to your foul machinations. And then I chant a loud prayer, and then I kind of raise my hand, and from somewhere a beam of light kind of shafts through the cave, piercing the sort of dank, dark, misty atmosphere interior, and it hits his brother, and I think he just completely dissipates. I think there's no trace of him whatsoever. When the light kind of dims again, he's just completely gone, perhaps to a better place or maybe to a worse one. And also that light, kind of whatever souls are already kind of whooshing around, they maybe avoid it and it pushes them away. Again, whether this has much of an effect, I don't know, but it certainly looks impressive enough.
Fantastic. Yeah, and some of the men that are in there, the cultists, for a better word, are quite. They're like, what's going on? They're like pointing up at you and pushing each other. Some of them are annoyed with you, clearly at disrupting the ritual. Some of them are getting the idea that maybe this isn't all it's been sort of counted for, because that did look like you're one of the good guys. If you see what I mean, it's quite, as they're pushing each other and doing it. Sandy, it's you now.
I'm going to. Does there appear to be like a focus for the ritual, a particular trinket or stone or something like that?
The energy appears to be going into Devonshire, into Halfpenny himself. He's the focus, if you like.
My intent was to attempt to shoot the focus, so I shall do just that.
Okay, for it, yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm going to replace this check with a draw against the GM, please.
Okay, I'm just going to shuffle my deck and see whether luck is on your side or not.
With a 3 of diamonds, I suspect not.
Well, let's see what we've got. Yeah, 9 of clubs. Sorry.
Oh dear.
Yes, you're. I think you just see you hit. It appears to hit him, but we just see the bullet freeze in midair and drop to the ground as he laughs at you, as if your bullet has not been successful. Talking of bullets, Deadwood Kid.
Every good rustler knows that the first thing you do is to cut out the supply, and there is a supply of souls here that is on some kind of wagoners trail.
Yeah.
Towards him, and that's on a teetering, barely keeping itself up kind of rickety bridge. Like,
I like it. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And with seeing this precarious situation that is almost certainly not really going to last long, feeding Halfpenny, he unleashes his revolver on the point at which the bridge is connected to the closeness of the altar, in an effort to collapse it and send those souls to their freedom down below and out of the grasp of the clutching Halfpenny.
Fantastic. Make your roll.
That is a 14.
Is enough, yeah. Do you want to roll your effect? This is going to be against disrupting the ritual. So I think it's a weapon effect.
That is a 6.
Okay, it's all going pretty well. Now there's sort of pretty much pandemonium in the cave. There's people running this way and that. People are trying to get the stuff back on the bridge. It's sort of teetering off and collapsing. It looks as if the ritual has been disrupted for momentarily. Nobody's really concentrating and stuff until Devonshire Halfpenny just shouts out, for it is my turn now. Have faith, have faith. Destroy the defilers. And he points up, and some of the men start rushing towards you. As he points towards you, Old Bill, and a sort of crackling beam of souls-powered electricity flies towards you. What's your armor defense?
It's +3 with the heavy jacket that I wear.
So that'd be 13. He gets a 12.
Oof.
So I think it maybe crackles. I think this is maybe something where the Bible in your sort of chest pocket is what takes the blow from this evil magic. As he does that, a sort of horde of these faithful rush up towards you. I think probably the kid and Sandy are the two who are sort of the ones they can get to. So on the kid, that will be a 9, which is probably not enough. And on Sandy, that will be enough.
I think that's a hit.
That is a hit. And they're going to do ultimate effort because they've got a 20.
Oh boy.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's 6 damage.
I mean, that still hurts.
It's still not, it's always nice to roll a d12 damage against someone when you know everyone's got 10 hit points. Yeah. So yeah, one of them, like I think we'll probably have that with that 20. One of them they sort of rush up and overwhelm you, and maybe even drag you down, and you're in the middle of this sort of horde of faithful who have got something to focus on now. You, as they're sort of trying to lay into you with their fists and the occasional club or knife from there. La Pantera, it's you next, and it's round 2. So luckily the ritual seems to have quite a while to go based on your lucky D4 roll then. But yeah, La Pantera, you're up next.
Well, he started to play If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher, thinking, if only we could do it. But like, that's not going to help Lucky now. So I'm going to sling the guitar one time, and I'm going to pull out my 6-shooter and start blasting away at the hombres that are trying to pin down my good friend.
Fantastic. Make me a roll.
Right, 15.
That's enough. Yeah. Roll your effect. Weapon effect.
3.
Okay, it all counts. Okay, yeah, you managed to get Lucky some sort of she's able to sort of get to her feet within this. You've got a bit of space there, and it thins it out a bit. They have less of a focus now, and some of them at the back look a little bit unsure that now there's gunfire flying everywhere. Old Bill, we'll go to you next.
I kind of just want to charge Devonshire Halfpenny straight up and, I don't know, tackle him to the ground and disrupt this thing. I think he's the nexus of evil and deserves to be punished. So I'm just going to rush him, if that's all right.
Go for it.
I imagine probably strength, right? Something like that.
Yeah, strength and very basic effort, I think is what you'll do. But yeah, so yeah, you get him to the ground. His eyes glow with a sort of sulphurous, hellish fury. And
I'll say, I'll drive the devil out of you. And I guess I'm just trying to sort of punch him for want of anything else.
I'll you with violence.
Indeed.
Do you have a bonus on that? You don't, do you? So yeah,
no,
that's
not
still
for my basic.
Yeah, you clock him at a proper sort of swing on the cheeks, and he turns around and like spits some blood out and that. He goes, no, you'll never stop me. You'll never stop me. I'll know power more than you'll ever know, old man. Lucky. You've got a moment to compose yourself, but you're still in the middle of a great horde of faithful.
Yeah. So they've thrown me down and started to beat me. And of course, they've got to come up to get their clubs up, which gives me an option not only to bring my already in hand 6-shooter to bear, but draw and bring the other one. And I'm just going to bam, 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 around me, just try and either drive them back or finish them off.
Lovely. Make you roll.
It's a 13, 14 with bonus.
That will be enough. Yeah. Do you want to roll your effect?
Cool. So all in 6.
Okay. Yeah. You thin out the crowd, and they're backing away from you now, and you can see that there's actually some of the faithful are sort of filing out now. They've had enough of this. But there's still, obviously, Devonshire is still wild-eyed, being pinned down by Old Bill, as we've still got the creaking of all these trinkets that are all scattered around. I think a lot of them are maybe in the lake in the center of this cavern. They've fallen into that. Deadwood Kid, you have a chance possibly to finally end the ritual.
I think so. It's looking like Lucky Sandy is going to be okay from what I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a little bit of higher ground, and I think that there is an opportunity to vault down here and maybe provide some covering fire to take out Halfpenny. How close are Halfpenny and Old Bill?
They're literally on top of one another. They're literally like.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna vault off of the perch that I'm on, and I'm gonna pirouette in the air and shoot my gun to basically shatter all of the other trinkets and flasks and so on that are around there, so that there is nothing within reach of Halfpenny. That there is just billowing smoke that is going to stop any kind of soul from getting from them to him.
Fantastic. Make your roll.
14, 18.
That's enough. Yeah. Roll your effect.
8.
And with that, the ritual is finally stopped. Jack, do you want to just put a bit of sort of narration on that, how this finally all happens, and then I'll take over and we'll show what actually happens to Halfpenny.
Yeah, so there, as the Deadwood Kid kind of springs off of this perch and tries to find a landing in this area close to the altar, he's blasting away, and there is just glass smashing all over the place. As the glass smashes and the souls within are released, they create kind of vacuum, and as that vacuum disperses, it draws from the strength of Halfpenny, and you can, and I suspect Old Bill can feel this cosmic, mystical, spiritual energy drawing out away from him as he kind of not necessarily desiccates, but feels like he becomes weaker and thinner underneath his body, and the trinkets fall into this chasm where the bridge was. There is just smoke and dust and quartz that is fragmented, that is dusting up around, and then it's over to you. Just tell me what happens.
Yeah, and as we see, Halfpenny sort of wails, and we just see him begin to burn up and dissolve himself as his soul is taken. There's a shake of the ground and the earthquake. You see Crow says, yes, it was like this. It was like this. And like boulders start to fall from the ceiling of this cave. And soon you're joining the throng of faithful as they flee, as all of these caves collapse and we sort of rush out onto donkeys to do it. You have managed to stop this terrible ritual, but at what cost? And you have been successful in, well, one part of your mission, certainly. And that you've rescued all these people who are here under false pretenses. There's the matter of the of all the missing trinkets and goods that are now somewhere in those caves. Maybe you could excavate them again with dynamite and go and get them eventually. But for now, though, you've had the victory that you deserve. Let's just have a quick scene with each player character back at town for how you're celebrating. Let's just go in reverse order here, actually. Let's go back around the other way just to mix it up. So Deadwood Kid, what do we see of you?
Deadwood Kid is propping up the bar just as you saw him in the first scene. He's lounging, slouching back, waiting still for that that tumbler of whiskey to be rolled past him. And that's it. He's there. He's got his gun, it's empty. You can see he knows that he can fill it up, but he's just waiting for the tumbler to arrive.
Fantastic, fantastic. Lucky Sandy, what are you up to in the?
And as you get one of those sort of camera things where in the foreground the Deadwood Kid fades to a blur and it sharpens in on the card table in the corner as Sandy's expertly dealing some cards, and the local sat opposite her can see her flexing the cards, but the camera can see an ace up her sleeve.
Lovely, lovely, lovely scene. Old Bill.
If you'll forgive me for rejecting the question slightly, I'm not in the bar or back at town. I'm up the mountain. We hear a dull hammering sound, and as we come closer, we see that old Bill has decided to take upon it himself to excavate this cave and turn it into a church. And he looks down towards the town in the hope that his priest friend who lost his faith will come up to join him.
Yeah. There's a shot down at the church of him looking up at the mountain at the. Lovely. And finally, La Pantera.
Well, in the town square, a small crowd's gathered at the front. You see three figures that you vaguely recognise, rubbing at the rope burns on the wrists. And saying, and then what happens? As La Pantera finishes off his grand tale in even bigger style than previously of what happened to the fabulous Caravan from Cancun.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for playing through that.
Brilliant.
And thank you for watching Index Card RPG. Really fast playing, simple system. Looks great. Watch out for more videos on the Unconventional GMs channel. Maybe this posse will tackle some more Wild West RPGs. Feel free to send in your suggestions of which ones you'd like us to play. We've already got some lined up, some of which look like really exciting games and some of which look a bit weird, but we'll see. We'll tackle those when we come to it. So thank you guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out the other videos on the channel, and we'll see you soon.
Cheerio.